Hey, I wanted to go through an update on TSP expenses today. So, Thrift Savings Plan has changed their expense ratios here in 2023. I I did not get a bulletin about it, didn't get a notice, and I don't know if they sent one to anybody, but was just in the TSP website here recently this past week and noticed the expense ratios have changed. So, just want to do an update and look at what they are now. So I did an article and a video here a couple months back talking about TSP expense ratios, the myth that TSP is cheaper than everywhere else, which just is inaccurate, and went through some examples of what those expenses have been. Now, one thing I want to mention is that video and article drew a lot of attention, and actually even a response from somebody at the Thrift Retirement Board. And she had some rebuttals and saying some of the indexes weren't tracking the exact same index, or some of the funds weren't tracking the same index that the TSP fund was. For example, like one of the international funds or ETFs tracked the FTSE, which includes Korea in it, where the EAFE does not include Korea, and I believe includes Poland too, where the EAFE does not include Poland. But in my opinion, a negligible difference. And then she looked at performance numbers as well. Performance numbers over the last 10 years, 5 years, 10 years. And in some of them, the TSP fund beat some of the investments on here, the index funds, and it was never by a big amount. But my one issue with that would be that the TSP expenses have been increasing the last few years, where expense ratios on basically all the other funds over the past decade have decreased and decreased considerably. So that's including 10 years back when those indexes used to have significantly higher expense ratios, to where today, let's look at them, the expense ratio. So new TSP expense ratios here in red, this column here, the F fund used to be 0.058, it's now 0.078, and you can see similar funds, ETFs here. Fidelity's 0.025. Go down here to the C fund, and the C fund's one that's got a big difference. That's just your S&P 500, 0.059. Okay, it went from 0.043 to 0.059 for the new expense ratio. Why is that? I don't really know. Maybe the TSP mutual fund window has something to do with that, with the number of people leaving TSP to go to the mutual fund window, and now the expense ratios go up. But other than that, I don't know what the reasoning for it is. But 0.059 compared to 0.015, okay, compared to 0.02, compared to 0.03, 0.04. So and I'm looking at the three major custodians: Vanguard, Schwab, Fidelity. Then the iFund. And the iFund has gone up from 0.053 up to 0.064. And you can see comparisons here with Fidelity International Index being the lowest at 0.035. And then the S Fund has the most expensive ratio now, a 0.09, with the lowest comparison, Fidelity Extended Markets Index of 0.035. So now these funds, check these for yourself, okay? So this is data that I got from tsp.gov, that I got from Fidelity's website, that I got from Schwab's website, Vanguard's website. Okay, it maybe, I doubt it, but maybe one of these expense ratios has changed by a minimal amount since I put it on here, but I doubt it. And also the expense ratios, they don't stay the same. Obviously, TSP just increased all their expense ratios. So who knows, maybe the other custodians will change expense ratios in the future as well. But the fact remains, TSP is not the cheapest game in town, okay? It's just not. Be curious to know your thoughts. Do you think TSP is the cheapest? Because I hear it all the time. I talk to federal employees all the time talking about retirement, and the most common thing I hear about TSP is, oh, TSP is so cheap, I can't afford to move my money. Really? And then I ask them what they mean. Well, it's cheap. No, it's not. Okay? There's no transaction fees for buying funds here, but with most of these custodians here, there's no transaction fee for buying funds either. So just want to update TSP expense ratios. They have gone up. Okay? They have increased here in 2023. They have not decreased. They are not getting cheaper. Okay? So when you're making decisions on what to do with TSP in retirement, I hope this helps. There's actually a number of other things that should play into that decision, such as ease of working with custodian. Something that I've talked about a fair amount, but ease of working with custodian, investment options, the ability to do Roth conversions, charitable contributions. There's a number of things, but this is just one factor. So now you've got the info. Thanks.